So Killian, have you seen your Dutch boy since we got home?
No, we just got fucking home, Caleb.
But you're going to keep seeing him, aren't you?
I'd like to, yeah. Why are we talking about this?
Well, you know, I was wondering if you're still going to be around.
What the fuck are you talking about, Caleb? Keep fucking drinking.
I don't know. Thought maybe you'd want to run off and play vampire hunter with Dutch boy.
Will you just shut up, Caleb? We're not talking about this.
Tristan's gone!
What are you talking about, Arthur?
Did you forget how to speak English? I said Tristan is gone!
No, Arthur. I didn't forget how to speak English. But what do you mean by gone? Like at his house? Studying?
No, you twit! Like, gone! As in, 1 minute we're walking home, and the next minute he's gone.
What?
Gone! You bloody dim-witted wankers!
Would you like a drink, Arthur? It might calm you down long enough for you to tell us exactly what's going on.
No, I don't want a bloody drink, you cheeky piss artist!
When I said, would you like a drink, Arthur? I meant you needed one. Now will you calm the hell down and tell us what the fuck is going on?
I thought you two were walking home together.
We were! It's all my fault. I was ranting on and on about Francis, about how we had to take his bloody ferry to get home. And if I wasn't so bloody preoccupied with bitching about the stupid frog, then maybe I would have noticed sooner that he wasn't walking next to me anymore.
Okay, he couldn't have just disappeared, Arthur.
Well, he did. I noticed that he wasn't walking next to me. I turned around, and one of his books was the only bloody evidence that he'd ever even been there.
People just don't disappear, Arthur. Especially if they're a nation.
I'm sure it's not as bad as you think. He probably just wandered off and gotten lost. He couldn't have gone far. I'm sure he'll be back.
Привет, Valley.
Where am I?
A long way from home, I'm afraid. I'll have you know that it was quite exhausting to have to carry you for so far and for so long, even for a vampire.
Vampire. Fuck! Help! Somebody help me!
Oh, darling, no one can hear you. You're wasting your breath. Shouldn't you be used to the idea of vampires by now? After all, your little brother is very close to one, is he not?
Is Vladimir behind this? Is this his idea of some form of sick joke?
I would sooner die than be Vladimir's bitch. I answer to no one, and most certainly not that Romanian pig. Yet, I'm afraid absolutely nothing about this is a joke, my dear.
Shit. Then, what is this about?
It's about connections, my dear. Isn't that what life is really all about? And speaking of which, I've been terribly rude in neglecting to introduce myself. I'm Casimir, this is Puck, and you'll meet Cachette eventually. He's currently out of town, as it were, on a sort of business trip. Oh, not fond of spiders, are you? Or is it his size that does tend to frighten a lot of humans? I imagine that's probably because they've never seen a vampiric spider before.
Vampiric spider? No.
Alright. I'll keep this little fear of yours in mind, should you decide you don't really feel like cooperating. Now then, where was I? Ah, yes, connections. Call it a wild guess, but it seems that you're not too fond of your little brother's vampire connections, that?
No, I'm not.
Then you and I have something in common. We both hate Vladimir. What if I could offer you a way to protect your precious little brother from that wretched Romanian scum?
They're not even together anymore. In fact, Arthur tries to avoid him. Why would he need protection?
Do you truly think him so powerless? After everything he's already done to your darling Arthur?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, you poor thing. So clueless. Vladimir is a greedy, selfish mutt who will stop at nothing to get what he wants. Your little brother will not be able to avoid him forever. And trust me, you have absolutely no idea the horrible things that Vladimir has already done to your precious Arthur. It will only get worse. Vladimir has left an everlasting mark on your brother, and vice versa. They will never escape that, I'm afraid. Of course, if you don't believe that Vladimir is a threat to your brother, perhaps you will believe that I am. Because, you see, if something terrible were to happen to Arthur, it would ultimately affect Vladimir in more ways than I am at liberty to divulge.
You lay so much as a single glance on him, and I swear I will find out a way to kill a vampire.
Remember how I mentioned Cachet and how he was on a sort of business trip? He's visiting the British Isles right now, settled in your very backyard, secretly observing all four of your precious brothers, but keeping a special watch on the littlest one. I don't know how much you know about vampires, my dear Welshman, but did you know that those of us who are connected to each other by blood can telepathically communicate with each other, even over very long distances? At any moment, I could give the order for Cachet to mercilessly torture and kill your beloved Arthur. Cachet is very much like you and your brothers, you see. He used to be known as the Hunnic Empire. He's barbaric and not above killing another kingdom. Now tell me, Tristan, how exactly do you plan to go about killing? By the time you have finished rifling through your books, trying to find a way to accomplish it, I would have Cachet slitting the throats of all four of your brothers. I'm sure he would appreciate gaining all that land, even if it is just a clusterfuck of tiny, useless islands.
Fuck you! Fuck you both!
Oh, it seems your little magical friend has finally shown up to comfort you. Perhaps he'd like to say hello to Puck, da? Say hello to your new playmate, Puck. Oh dear, I never did catch the little dragon's name.
No, Aldrin, please don't hurt him. What do you want?
That's it, Aldwin. Fuck!
No.
Say hello to your new friend, Aldwin. I think they like each other. What do I want? Well, you see, I hold a deeply rooted vendetta against Vladimir. And now that Vladimir and Arthur are so heavily linked, it would greatly benefit me to have my own connections in that area of Europe. Connections, darling, remember?
So what? You want me to tell you about my boring home life? I've told you they barely interact with one another anymore. And now that school is over, I highly doubt they'll see each other at all. I know you seem to think they're heavily linked to each other, but I assure you that's not the case. Arthur's little snog fest with the Romanian is over. I really don't get what you're gaining from this. And if Vladimir has it in his head that he can win him back, I will swallow my pride and make Tim my best friend. I'm sure we can handle keeping him at bay.
Do you really think that he has any reason to be afraid of that incompetent Dutch monster hunter? No, you're right. I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to Vladimir and your little brother. You have absolutely nothing to worry about. And your life is so boring that if that is indeed the case, then you won't mind if I just kill you, that? I mean, if I'm gaining nothing from this and you are no use to me, then why shouldn't I just kill you?
I'm a nation. You can't just kill me. And what do you get out of killing me? Just blindfold me and leave me in Calais where you found me. I don't know where we are. I don't even know if the name you gave me is your real name. I'm not a threat to you. Please, just let me go. I want to go home. I want to make sure my family's alright. I need to show Arthur that I'm alright.
Arthur doesn't give a shit about you, Tristan. Cachet has been keeping a watchful eye on him, remember? From what he's told me in the last several days, I hear he's planning a total conquest of your land. I mean, it's been sitting there vacant without you for nearly a week now. Your little brother can't even be bothered to look for you. It's much easier for him to simply take everything that you've left behind. This is the brother you care so much about?
Lies! That can't be true!
I'm sure it's difficult to hear, darling, but I promise you this. Your brother hasn't even begun to lift a finger to look for you. And if he does decide to take your land for himself, where does that leave you? If your land is annexed, that leaves you very vulnerable, doesn't it? Vulnerable and mortal. And mortals can be killed, I assure you. Oh, and by the way, you should know that I have every intention of keeping you here until you agree to my terms or your brothers annex you. In which case, I can and will kill you.
What are your terms?
I've already told you. You will become my connection to the British Isles. Of course, I couldn't trust you with such a task as a mere human nation. You will need to be embraced into this life as my vampire child. There's simply no other way that I can trust you.
A vampire? No, surely there must be some other way. A spell or something. anything but that.
These are my terms, my dear. They are non-negotiable. And so you really only have two choices, Tristan. The first is that you stay here with me and become part of my vampiric family. The second is, well, put simply, a slow, painful death. Oh, and I'll be sure to leave your rotted, mutilated corpse where Arthur can surely find it. Perhaps he'll care about you then, huh?
Fine. You win. I'll do what you want.
There, you see? I knew you would be reasonable in the end. In case you're having any second thoughts about our little agreement, you should know that if you refuse to drink from my wrist now, you will bleed out. I have no intentions of healing, and your own magic is useless under the dark barrier that I've cast over this room. So unless you'd like to find out exactly what happens when a nation loses too much blood and has no means of healing, drink. I've just sent Cachet on a very important mission. In a day or two, he'll be in talks with the Golden Horde regarding a strategy to further cripple the Romanian kingdom. If he fails, I'll have no other choice but to send you on your first official mission. Aren't you excited, Tristan?
Excited? No. Restless? Yes. Look, you might as well tell me about this mission now, because we both know the chances of that idiot succeeding are slim to none.
I realize that the two of you are not the best of friends, but you underestimate him. Regardless, if he fails to influence the Golden Horde in a way that benefits us, then I intend to send you to speak with the personification of Hungary. That should be easy enough for you, duh? I mean, you're both nations, after all. Perhaps we can help her retain custody of Vladimir's brat. And then, she would owe us a favor, duh?
Given her disposition towards vampires, why do I have this feeling that this is more of a test than a mission?
It's both, darling. It is a test, but if you succeed, then we're another step closer to our goal.
My glorious social skills aside, what if something happens or my glamour magic fails? What would you have me do? And what will stop her from telling my brothers that she's seen me?
Why do you think I've drilled that little glamour spell into your head? So long as you feed properly and frequently, it won't fail. you look like a perfectly normal human nation, and no one will be the wiser, including your fellow kingdoms. Why would she tell your brothers when you're going to explain to her that your terms require her silence and that there will be dire consequences for her should she decide to run her mouth? Besides, she never sees them, she never speaks to them. And if we are offering to so generously aid her in her continuing conquest for Transylvania, how could she refuse? Listen, Tristan, you leave the politics to me and just do what you're told. If she refuses, let her. I'll take over from there. And again, this is all assuming that Cachet fails to win over the Mongols.
Fine. Do you ever intend to let me go home? I thought that was the point of all this, that I was going to be your connection to the British Isles.
It is. But you're not nearly strong enough yet for me to let you wander off back to the Isles. Before I allow you to return home, I need to be certain that your brothers will not recognize you for what you truly are. You need more practice with the glamour magic I've taught you, and easing you back into talking with some of your fellow nations is the best way to test that. Of course, even then, you realize that you'll have to avoid your brothers at all costs when you do ultimately return home. The more you interact with them, the more that they will sense that something is wrong. And again, I can't think of a single reason why you would want to interact with them, given the plans they have for your vacant land.
What do you mean by that?
Well, really it's more Arthur's doing than the others. The older three are having their own little petty arguments with him at the moment, or so I'm told. I usually don't bother myself with these sort of political documents if I can help it, but I thought this particular charter might interest you. Your little brother is officially annexing you, Tristan. I warned you that this would happen. Aren't you glad now that you listened to me?
This can't be. How could he do this to me? I did so much for him. I gave up my humanity to keep him safe. How could he do this to me?
I know, darling, I know. You must be heartbroken. Now, you see that I was telling you the truth about the monster that your little brother has become. You realize that it's partly Vladimir's fault. Arthur has always had a pretentious, greedy nature, of course. And so I'm not surprised that he's turned on you. But when that Romanian dog set his claws into your little brother, he forever changed him, corrupted him, in more ways than you know.
What do you mean?
No, my dear, I couldn't possibly tell you. The shock of seeing the proof of your brother's plans to annex you, that's traumatizing enough. I wouldn't want to add to that by telling you the real reason why your brother suddenly began to avoid Vladimir. I'm really not sure how you would handle the truth of your little brother's most desperately kept secret. And I'm certainly not referring to his not so subtle obsession with his French neighbor.
Cosmo, what is it? I need to know.
Did you ever notice the subtle change in Vladimir's appearance directly following the fallout between himself and Arthur? The missing fang? It wasn't simply a case of chipping a tooth. If a vampire damages or loses a fang, it regenerates, like any other part of our body that may become injured. But Vladimir's broken fang never healed itself. You know why? Once upon an October, at First World Academy W, your little brother made the grievous mistake of allowing Vladimir to bite and feed from him. And under extraordinarily bizarre circumstances that continue to baffle vampire society to this day, Vladimir somehow managed to embrace Arthur into vampirism through a single bite.
What? That can't be. Arthur's not a vampire. I would have noticed.
Of course he isn't anymore. But he was for about a week, until Vladimir created a spell to reverse your brother's vampirism. You know enough about magic to realize that such a spell requires an equal sacrifice, that? In this case, the spell required half of Vladimir's immortality. His broken fang is the proof of his loss. But what Vladimir lost, Arthur gained. I'm afraid that your little brother will be forever connected to the Romanian pig thanks to that spell. Vladimir may have thought that he was saving Arthur by reversing his vampirism, or perhaps corrupting Arthur in such a way was his plan all along. Either way, the circumstances of the spell ensured that your little brother will be forever tainted by vampiric magic. And precious little Arthur never bothered to tell you about any of this, did he? Don't worry, darling. I'll give you time to adjust to all of this new information, and to hone the newfound skills that I taught you. And in 100 years or so, we'll begin planning your revolt. And then after that, you can return home, that?
Yeah. You'll help me get my land back, Cosmo. You won't let him try and erase me, will you?
Of course, I won't let him erase you, darling. Just be patient. And I will ensure that your land and kingdom are returned to you.
living soul in the field, and who could sprout up so blessedly if I had died? I would have never felt sad at all. You will not hear me say, I'm sorry, where is the light? Wonder if it's weeping somewhere. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes and goodbye. It was always you that I despised. I don't feel enough for you to cry. Oh well. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes. Goodbye. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes. Goodbye. It was always you that I despised. I don't feel enough for you to cry. Here's a lullaby to close your eyes. Goodbye.
Return to your brothers, under the guise of the human nation that you once were. Reunite with them, resume your nation's politics. Let them play their games, you'll play ours. Give them false hope. Avoid their questions regarding your absence. Cooperate with them as much as possible. And one day, Tristan, I will help you exact your revenge against them.
Like about this clause right here. Caleb, this is serious, Caleb. Pay attention. Hello. Killian, it's that one closet that you wanted to talk to you
Pay
about.
attention to
Pay
it.
attention! This clause is extremely... Tristan? Is it really you?
What do we have here? A union. My, surely I'm allowed to sign as well. If that's alright.
Well, Arthur was gonna sign for you on behalf of Wales, since you've been missing and all.
Is that so? Well, I assure you that won't be necessary.
Jesus, Tristan, what the fuck crawled up your arse and died?
Screw the bloody union for a second. I think we're all far more concerned about where the hell you've been the last 700 years.
Concerned, that's rich, Galen. But your concern aside, it's really none of your damn business where I've been. And that's not why I'm here, so if you'll excuse me...
What the bloody hell do you think you're doing? What makes you think you deserve to be a part of this union? When you've been gone for the last 7 centuries? You can't just waltz right back in when something might be benefiting you.
Killian! What the bloody hell are you talking about? Of course Tristan should be part of this union. Just because he's been missing for the last 700 years doesn't mean he's no longer a brother.
Fucker could have written a letter.
I agree. Yeah, he's been gone a damn long time. And now he just shows up out of the blue and won't even tell us where the hell he's been.
Aye, fishy that is.
Even the Scot can see reason.
Gone or not, I'm still a personification of Wales. So if you want my nation to be part of your little union here, I'll be needing that pen back.
Tristan, what's wrong with you? You're not yourself. What happened? Why won't you tell us where you've been?
Nothing's wrong, Arthur. I have, as you've all pointed out, been gone for a very long time. And as you all can imagine, I'm very tired and would like nothing more than to be in the comfort of my own home. But business comes first. And as for where I've been, that's something I'll tell you on my own terms, not yours.
What? Bloody hell! Tristan, please explain all of this to me because I just can't understand it. We've looked everywhere for you.
Looked everywhere for me. If that was the case, you would have found me. But you were too busy planning how to most efficiently take over my land.
What? Would you rather that I just left it vacant to be invaded and claimed by half of Europe? I was protecting it for you, you twit!
Protecting it? Is that what it's called when you annex another nation? You're lucky I came back at all, Arthur. Annexation is a very effective method at wiping nations from existence. Was that your intention, Arthur? Were you planning on me never returning? Or were you trying to ensure that?
Are you bloody kidding me? Tristan, I'm not even going to answer that question because it's such a bloody ridiculous one. I had no choice but to annex you, brother. It was a necessary evil. There was simply no other way to ensure the protection of your land. What does that matter now, anyway? I gave the land back to your leaders 4 centuries ago, and they have been caring for it in your absence, since you were apparently so occupied with whatever it is you won't tell us about.
Why should I tell you? I keep hearing, my land this, my land that, and you expect me to believe that you were concerned with where I was. Oh no, Arthur, I believe that you were very concerned with protecting my land. But if you really expect me to believe that you were concerned with where I've been, you are sorely mistaken. If you really had looked as hard as you claim, you would have found me.
Piss off then, Tristan! You have no idea what I've been through in the last 7 centuries! I wanted my brother back that entire time, and when you finally walked through the door, I thought I finally had him back. But I was wrong, wasn't I? My brother did walk through that door, but it seems that my brother has been replaced by a cold, uncaring, cheeky bastard.
Look who's holding the kettle black.
Just sign the bloody thing then and get the fuck out of here, Tristan. Since you don't want to be with your family.